2020 and 2023 National Electrical Code (NEC) do not explicitly address whether multiple service feeders can enter a dwelling through the same opening in a wall or foundation. However, Section 230.50(8)(2) states that service conductors entering a building shall be grouped together and enclosed in a raceway. UL Standard 508A, standard for splices of insulated wires and cables, states in Section 10.2, service entrance conductors shall be installed in accordance with the National Electrical Code. It is common industry practice to group service entrance conductors together in a single raceway or opening, provided they are properly protected. This is supported by the fact that the NEC does not prohibit this practice. Based on the above interpretations, it is acceptable to enter both sets of service feeders into the same 3-inch hole in the dwelling, provided they are firstly properly grouped together in a raceway or cable bundle, secondly separated from other wiring, and thirdly protected from physical damage. If the service feeders are in separate SCU packs, the pack should be securely fastened to the wall or foundation. The opening in the wall or foundation should be sealed around the raceway or cable bundle to prevent water intrusion. It is advisable to consult with your local authority having jurisdiction, OJ, to ensure compliance with their specific requirements. In more detail, considering the specifics of the inquiry regarding a 400 amp single-phase service and the use of a 400 amp meter, 2 disconnects, and 2 troughs, let's explore the nuances of the NEC and industry practices that govern such installations. The core question revolves around whether 2 separate sets of service entrance conductors, each within its own SCU cable, can pass through the same 3-inch hole in the building's wall or foundation after having been kept separate everywhere else except within the service troughs. The NEC doesn't offer explicit guidance on this specific scenario. However, the principle of grouping service entrance conductors, as mentioned in NEC Section 230.50(a)(2), is crucial. This section emphasizes the importance of enclosing service conductors in a raceway, which implies a level of organization and protection. The term raceway, as defined by the NEC, includes various types of enclosures such as rigid metal conduit, intermediate metal conduit, electrical metallic tubing, and even cable trays under certain conditions. The underlying purpose of this requirement is to ensure the physical protection of the conductors and to prevent accidental contact or damage. Given that the 2 sets of feeders are in separate SCU cables, they already possess a degree of protection. SCU cable or service entrance cable, underground, is designed to be weather resistant and suitable for direct burial in some cases, although that's not relevant here. The fact that each set of conductors is within its own SCU cable provides a layer of insulation and mechanical protection. However, the question remains whether passing both SCU cables through the same hole complies with the intent of the NEC, particularly regarding grouping and protection. Industry practice often allows for multiple service entrance conductors to share the same opening, especially when space is limited, provided that certain conditions are met. These conditions primarily revolve around ensuring that the conductors are adequately protected and that the installation is neat and workmanlike. The key considerations are firstly, physical protection, secondly, separation from other systems, and thirdly, sealing against environmental factors. Physical protection involves ensuring that the conductors are not subject to undue stress or abrasion as they pass through the opening. This can be achieved by using a conduit or sleeve within the hole to provide a smooth and protective pathway. Even if the SCU cables themselves are robust, the edges of the hole can be sharp and potentially damage the cable insulation over time. A short section of PVC conduit or a similar protective sleeve can mitigate this risk. Separation from other systems is another crucial aspect. While the inquiry specifies that the 2 sets of feeders are separate from each other except within the troughs, it's important to ensure that they are also separate from any other wiring systems that might be present in the wall or foundation. This separation minimizes the risk of accidental contact or interference. Sealing against environmental factors, such as water and pests, is also essential. The opening around the SCU cable should be properly sealed with the suitable sealant to prevent water from entering the building. Water intrusion can lead to corrosion and other problems that can compromise the integrity of the electrical system. In the context of UL Standard 508A, Section 10.2's reference to installing service entrance conductors in accordance with the NEC reinforces the need to adhere to the NEC general principles, even when specific scenarios are not explicitly addressed. The standard emphasizes the importance of following established electrical codes and practices to ensure safety and compliance. Now, let's address the specific concern about whether two separate 2 to 2.5-inch holes would be required instead of a single 3-inch hole. The NEC doesn't dictate the precise size or number of holes for service entrance conductors, but it does emphasize the need for proper protection and grouping. If a single 3-inch hole can adequately accommodate both SEU cables while maintaining proper separation and protection, then it is generally acceptable. However, if the 3-inch hole is too crowded, or if it makes it difficult to properly seal the opening, then two smaller holes might be a better option. The decision ultimately depends on the specific physical constraints and the ability to ensure a safe and compliant installation. It's also worth considering the potential impact on the structural integrity of the wall or foundation. Drilling multiple large holes can weaken the structure, so it's important to assess the situation carefully and consult with a qualified structural engineer if necessary. Additionally, the local authority having jurisdiction, OJ, plays a crucial role in interpreting and enforcing the NEC. The AHJ has the final say on whether an installation meets the code requirements and is safe. It's always advisable to consult with the AHJ before proceeding with any electrical work, especially when there is uncertainty about the code requirements. The AHJ can provide valuable guidance and ensure that the installation is compliant with local regulations. In summary, while the NEC doesn't explicitly prohibit multiple service entrance conductors from sharing the same opening, it does emphasize the need for proper protection, grouping, and sealing. Industry practice generally allows for this arrangement provided that these conditions are met. The decision of whether to use a single 3-inch hole or two smaller holes depends on the specific physical constraints and the ability to ensure a safe and compliant installation. Consulting with the local AHJ is always recommended to ensure compliance with local regulations. Furthermore, consider the practical aspects of working with SEU cable. SEU cable can be stiff and difficult to maneuver, especially in tight spaces. Ensure that there is enough slack in the cables to allow for easy installation and maintenance. Avoid bending the cables too sharply, as this can damage the insulation and compromise their integrity. When securing the SEU cables to the wall or foundation, use appropriate fasteners that are designed for this purpose. Avoid using nails or screws that could penetrate the cable insulation. Use cable clamps or straps that provide a secure and non-damaging hold. Also, pay attention to the grounding requirements for the service entrance conductors. The NEC specifies the size and type of grounding conductors that are required for different service sizes. Ensure that the grounding system is properly installed and connected to a grounding electrode system such as a ground rod or water pipe. The grounding system is essential for protecting against electrical shock and preventing damage to equipment. In addition to the above considerations, it's also important to be aware of any potential hazards associated with working with electricity. Always energize the circuit before working on any electrical equipment. Use appropriate personal protective equipment, such as gloves and safety glasses. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it's best to hire a qualified electrician to perform the work. Working with electricity can be dangerous, and it's important to take all necessary precautions to ensure safety. Finally, keep in mind that the NEC is a complex and constantly evolving document. It's important to stay up to date with the latest code changes and interpretations. The NEC is typically updated every 3 years, and there are often significant changes from one edition to the next. Staying informed about the code requirements is essential for ensuring that your electrical installations are safe and compliant. In conclusion, while the NEC does not explicitly forbid running two SEU cables through the same 3-inch hole, careful consideration must be given to protection, grouping, sealing, and local AHJ requirements. Prioritize safety and compliance in all electrical work.